Does Atisa Manalo has what it takes to win the crown of Miss Universe Philippines 2024? Let's talk about it. Since Atisa announced that she is making a comeback to pageantry, she quickly became one of the fan favorite candidates to win the national title for Miss Universe. And honestly, understandably so, because Atisa competed at Binibining Pilipinas 2018 alongside the likes of Catriona Gray. Because of her excellent performance, she managed to win the title of Binibining Pilipinas International, and then later on at Miss International, she ended as a first runner-up because of her immaculate performance. So it is very safe to say that she has proven what she's capable of. However, Miss International and Miss Universe are two radically different beauty pageants. So for today's video, I'm going to be presenting to you a winning strategy as well as some guidelines to ensure that Atisa Manalo has a successful journey at Miss Universe Philippines 2024. By the way, if you guys enjoyed this type of videos, go ahead and let me know in the comment section which other candidates would you like for me to analyze. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first thing that Atisa Manalo has to do in order to be successful at Miss Universe Philippines is reinvent her look and stay away from the princess persona. We all know that Miss International is famous for looking for this type of doll-like, very delicate, very princess-like girls that eventually tend to do really well in the pageant. And this is because, culturally speaking, Japanese usually appreciate women with these traits. This has created a phenomenon for decades that whoever is sent to Miss International has to kind of adhere to a certain prototype. They need to work on the way that they present themselves. They need to reinvent themselves to fit the mold of what they think the judges are looking for. Although the Miss International organization has secured several times that they don't necessarily look for a prototype, and it's not because you look like a little princess or you wear certain colors or certain designs that you are guaranteed to do well during the pageant, it is also a reality that the decision making for Miss International relies heavily on the judges, which for the most part, most of the time, at least in the past few years, are from Japan. Now, going to Miss Universe, it is a completely different story. Miss Universe tends to look for women who are more into fashion, who are edgier, who are not scared to take a risk, who are more on the glamorous and luxurious side of things. So I think that Atisa needs to put forward this image. That has to translate in every single aspect, not only what she's wearing, but also the makeup, the hairstyling, the jewelry. Every single aspect of your look needs to be branded Miss Universe. Unlike a Miss International who is usually subtle, delicate, and soft, a Miss Universe winner should be bold, impactful, and steal people's attention. The next point for Atisa is to impress on the runway with the pasarela skills. And let me tell you, Miss International is not necessarily known for the catwalk. The pasarela, the girls, even back in the day when they used to have the swimsuit presentation, it's not really mandatory to do a lot on stage. You just have to present yourself naturally under a very positive light, and I think that this is the aura that usually the judges like, what they appreciate. At Miss Universe, especially in the past 10 years, this is a completely different story. You have to take the stage by storm. You have to impress the judges. You have to amaze the audience and even manage to wow the people watching from home. It is no secret that at Miss Universe, the performance is something that is really important. And although what Atisa presented at Miss International is so radically different from what we expect her to deliver on the stage of Miss Universe Philippines or even Miss Universe if she manages to get the international title, I think that Atisa has it in her to deliver a killer performance. Of course, comparing what she did at Miss International to Miss Universe will be unfair to Atisa herself, but we have to look no further than her performance at Binibining Pilipinas in 2018 when she competed along the likes of Catriona Gray. Atisa is playful with the camera, she is not scared to flaunt her physique and flirt a little bit with the audience. That is exactly what we need on the stage of Miss Universe Philippines, but even turn it up a notch. Thanks God, we all know it is no secret at this point that Atisa is training with Ian Lawrence, who has trained a lot of incredible queens who represented the country, most recently Michelle D at Miss Universe and Michelle Arceo at Reinas Panamericana, so we all know what Ian is capable of. I can only imagine the outcome of his collaboration with Atisa Manalo, and I cannot wait for them to present to us Atisa 2.0. Next point on Atisa's winning strategy should be to focus on the Q&A and the public speaking skills. Now, we all know that Atisa can speak, we all know that she's eloquent, of course there is no questioning that. However, remember back in the day, because this has changed ever since, there was no Q&A segment at Miss International. Last year was the very first edition in the 61 years of the pageant that the girls had to go through a Q&A round to decide who the winner was going to be. Because of this, Atisa's preparation going into Miss International was a little bit more focused on the look, the advocacy, Of course, the way that she was going to present herself, interact with others, maybe learning about the culture, but Q&A was not necessarily a concern. Back in the day, they had a speech round, which of course is something that the girls get to plan and memorize ahead of time. Now, going to Miss Universe is a completely different story because especially nowadays, in the age of JKN, in the age of empowerment, in the age of transformational leaders, being eloquent and being impactful with your communication skills, it's one of the most important parts of the pageant. And definitely, if she manages to make it to the top 5, she will be going against some of the strongest speakers in the country. Let's not forget some of the girls who so far have been announced that would easily drop the microphone if they were given a chance to hold it. I'm thinking of the likes of Victoria Velasquez Vincent, Alexi Brooks, or even Stacey Gabriel, who just announced that she is also joining Miss Universe Philippines. So this is the perfect time for Atisa, with the help of her team and her trainers, to prove that she can be an impactful speaker, that not everything has to be soft and subtle. Remember that image of a Miss International. Now we are trying to rebrand into more of a Miss Universe mold. So you have to be bold. You have to impose yourself. You have to be able to influence people with your thoughts, give them something to think about, and stimulate their critical thinking. As early as of right now, Atisa should be thinking of what her story is going to be like in the sense of how she wants to present it, how she wants to be perceived. Q&A and public speaking should be a top priority as of right now. The next point on the list goes hand in hand with the previous one, and that is to exude a strong and confident aura. I cannot tell you how many times I have encountered pageant girls and pageant boys all over the world who have a really impactful story to tell. They have the experience, they have gone through so many challenges, they have accomplished incredible things in their lifetime. But because they don't have the presence to stand in front of a camera, to stand in front of an audience, to really deliver that message in a way that is going to touch people, their message falls flat. So you can be an incredible person, you might have the most incredible, outstanding story of a lifetime, but if you don't know how to deliver it, you won't be able to have the impact that you wish for. I recently watched the interview that Atisa had with Tita Lavinia on her channel, and I'm going to say that I was pleasantly surprised. Atisa does seem to be empowered. She comes across as being strong, but I do feel like there is a little bit of the training that we still can sense. She has probably been coached to present herself into a certain way, and I think that it's not fully assimilated just yet. But she is getting there. So let's continue working on that. Let's continue making sure that whenever you are talking about your story, there's no hesitation. Whenever people ask you to introduce yourself, you know exactly what to say, what to give them. You have to be witty. You have to be able to bring examples to make sure that the message that you're trying to present will be received exactly as you want it. There shouldn't be any room for misinterpretation. There shouldn't be any room for thinking, oh, she could have said things differently. She could have done this differently. You have to come across as the strongest candidate. Keep in mind, the competition this year is fierce, and in a lot of different ways, the girls who are really excelling this year are the communicators. So confidence and a strong aura is only going to be the icing on top of the cake when it comes to outperforming everyone else. Now, one of the most important points for Atisa to excel during Miss Universe Philippines 2024 is to continue creating awareness around her advocacy. So far, I've been doing some research to find out what she's into, what she's promoting, and what I've been able to gather is that Atisa is an LGBTQI+ community advocate, which is amazing. I think that this is a topic in the Philippines that still needs a lot of work. So of course, I can see how her work has been relevant. However, let's not forget that ever since Atisa competed back in 2018, she kind of took a step back from the public eye. Other than seeing her in certain pageants being a judge or a presenter, we haven't seen much of her on the public arena. She has mainly focused on her businesses and growing in other aspects of her life, which is perfectly fine. But we also want to know, what have you been doing in terms of your advocacy? You know, this is not something that she'll suddenly stop or even start before a pageant and then right after the pageant never hear about it anymore. I'm not saying this is the case for her. Maybe she has been doing incredible things behind the scene for the community. I personally can say that I don't really like when everyone has to showcase everything that they do publicly just for validation. So who says that Atisa hasn't been working with the LGBTQI+ community behind the scenes through her businesses? It is very possible. But now that you're coming back into the public eye, it's a perfect time to remind everyone what you have been doing, what you're all about. And be more specific. Other than saying, I'm an LGBTQI+ community advocate, you must give precise examples, clear things that people will understand and that they can relate to. For example, Have you been promoting HIV awareness? Have you been talking to the trans community? Have you been supporting local drag shows? I don't know. There's so many different ways to support and be an advocate for the LGBTQI plus community that I think that we need that little bit of a push in terms of the advocacy, in terms of the visibility. Again, I'm not in charge of Atisa's rollout for her pageant journey, so maybe all of these things will be coming in the future. I'm just saying that if I was one of the people calling the shots, this will be a priority for me. So go ahead, let me know in the comment section, what do you think about my winning strategy for Atisa Manalo going into Miss Universe Philippines 2024? Do you think that she has what it takes to win the national title and represent the Philippines at Miss Universe? And remember, if you want me to do this type of analysis for other candidates, go ahead and let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next one. In the meantime, go ahead and check out this video.